The latest tech.
I'm Alexa. I can answer your questions.
Interviews.
And we are evolving, and we are seeing an amazing opportunity that is happening.
Accessibility.
Accessibility is one of our core values.
This is Double Tap TV.
Welcome to Double Tap TV. Thank you guys so much for being here. We've got a great AI-assisted episode of Double Tap TV lined up for you this week, as we'll be diving headfirst into the Amazon Echo lineup for the 2021 season and look at what's new, some of the features that I think are great uses for the whole smart speaker lineup. So if you guys want to get involved, come on, email us. feedback@ami.ca is our email address. And on Twitter, we are @DoubleTapCanada. And use that hashtag, which is #DoubleTap. I am Mark Aflalo. As always, by my side is Stephen Scott. Stephen, we've got a whole refresh of the Amazon lineup this year. I know we've both had some time with these new devices, but for those of us who have not yet had a chance to dive in, why don't you recap it for us? Tell us what the new devices are, what are we looking at, and describe them for the audience.
Yeah, I shall. Well, hello to everybody again. Yes, Mark, if we think back first, though, to November 2014, that was the first time we ever clapped our eyes and ears on Lady A. Yes, that is when Alexa was first born and came into our lives. Doesn't seem that long ago, really, does it? Well, from that very first Echo Dot device that was basically just a plastic hockey puck shape with a very tinny speaker in it, wasp in a jar is how I like to call it, to today, where we see a whole new design and much more consideration of audio quality. 2020 was the year when we saw the Echo move from hockey puck and cylindrical tower style to a more spherical ball-shaped design. I hope I'm using all the right technical terms here, Mark. Now, I've got my new Echo Dot 4th Gen in my hands here, and it feels like a tennis ball. Very soft to the touch because of that soft fabric feel that covers almost the entire area of the device. The only plastic part really is at the bottom where the round shape flattens out so it can sit wherever you like in your home without rolling away. It has, of course, the standard 4 buttons that we've come to expect on Echo devices: volume up, volume down, mute, and the action button as well, the latter being very useful if you don't want to use the wake word, Alexa. Why you wouldn't, I don't know, but actually really what it's mainly used for is resetting your device if there's a problem. Now I've also got with me here the all-new Echo 4th Gen, which is a bit bigger if I'm honest. This is more like a child's football, I guess, but it feels exactly the same with its fabric finish, and it's got the same buttons on the top as well. Sound is key though with these devices, and you know, the new Echo, I have to say, is a much better speaker than its predecessors. In my opinion, you might argue, to me the sound just feels a lot more alive, it feels a lot more vibrant. I think the new ball design really does quite literally bounce the sound around the room a lot more, which is great. As for the Echo Dot, sound is okay, bit light for me, not heavy enough on the bottom end, even with a bit of adjustment, which you can do. Personally, if I'm honest, I think back to my Echo Dot 3rd Gen, which I've got in my hand here as well, which is like a flattened Echo 4th Gen, as if I've stood in it, because it's a lot flatter. But this one, you know, it has a much better, I think, and more dynamic sound. But if you don't have a 3rd Gen and you've got one of those 1st Gen ones, the hockey puck plastic style, you probably want the newest one out. So get yourself a 4th Gen, you won't be upset about it. I mean, price-wise, you're going to pay around 69 Canadian for the new Echo Dot outside of any offers that are going on. And for the larger 4th Gen one, you'll pay around 129 Canadian. I should also say about the Echo, the 4th Gen, it does have a built-in hub as well. And that's really important. So if you want to connect your smart plugs, your smart lights, you can do that without having an extra device plugged in, another hub somewhere. The Echo can actually be that hub, which is fantastic. So, you know, connecting up, say, a Casa smart plug from TP-Link, you just literally plug it in and you ask your Echo to discover new devices and it will find it for you and it will set it up, and you can do all that setup process really easy. And there's one other to tell you about, the new Echo Show 10, which is coming soon. That's the one with a screen built in, but we'll talk more about that once it's actually here and we've had time to play with it.
You know, Stephen, there's one device that you actually missed on that list, and that's the reason that my family is looking at me really funny, because I had LASIK a couple of years ago, and suddenly they're looking at me and they're wondering, why, Mark, why are you wearing glasses? But these aren't just any glasses. They're called Echo Frames. They retail for $249, not cheap, and they come with a completely clear set of lenses, so you're going to have to get dark lenses if you want to use them as sunglasses, or go to your optometrist and get your prescription put in if you have one. But what makes these special is very much like your Bose frames that are on your face, that I know you love wearing. They've got a built-in battery. They've got built-in speakers that fire the sound into your ears so they're not bone conduction. You've got a couple buttons on one side for volume and another button for summoning your favorite assistant. And even the touchpad area on the right side so you can actually control various things like phone calls. So not only do you have access to your favorite assistant, but because they're Bluetooth, you can connect them to your phone so you can make calls, listen to music, and of course, ask that assistant for answers to all your life questions.
Yeah, I'm quite intrigued by these, Mark, but I'm going to level with you here. I am not buying any more smart glasses until the Fruit Company brings theirs out. Then I'll be selling a wonderful pair of Bose frames if anyone wants them. Anyone? Anyone? New pair of Bose frames here?
I think maybe you got to head to eBay, and I would try selling them before another company decides to come out with something that is so much more superior. Lots of really cool devices in the lineup for this year. I'm excited to see, obviously, how these evolve, and I'm excited to get a little handsy with these. So let's take a quick break, and we're going to talk all about new features and a lovely thing that I call routines that I'm going to walk you guys through as well. It is Double Tap TV. He is Steven Scott. I am Mark Aflalo. We take a quick break and come back and dive into a new feature. What's it called, Steven? Show and Tell?
Show and Tell, yes. It's a fantastic new feature for visually impaired people. I'll tell you all soon.
That and more after we take a quick break here on Double Tap TV.
Love Double Tap TV? Listen to AMI Audio for Double Tap Canada every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for news and reviews on everything tech. This is Double Tap TV.
We are back on Double Tap TV. Thank you guys again for being here each and every single week. I am Mark Aflalo. Alongside me is Steven Scott, and we're talking all things Echo and Amazon Alexa. It's hard not to say the word, Steven, and I know it's going to trigger various people's speakers at home, so I apologize in advance. Now, Steven, here's something interesting. Here in Canada, we're often kind of the last to get the new features. I know it's kind of similar for you in the UK as well. Sometimes even the devices themselves are US only, so it's no surprise that there's one feature that you've finally been able to try that's just arrived in the UK that actually we had before you.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to show you a new feature for the Echo Show. It's called Show and Tell. Now, you're quite right. We here in the UK often have to watch all of these features roll out in the US and then hope that eventually they'll make their way slowly over the pond on clearly some kind of container ship because it takes that long to get here. This one did at last. Now, this is only for those of you who have an Echo Show. That is the Echo device with a screen. Now, why is that? Well, this feature requires your device to have a camera built in, which the Show does. Look, I tell you what, Mark, I'm going to pop down to my kitchen and I'm going to show you how this works. Rather than just talk about it, I'm going to show you how it works. Talk amongst yourselves, will you?
Okay. Okay, well, fine. Well, Steven heads down to the kitchen, which I clearly was not expecting. Let me remind you guys how you can get in touch with us here at Double Tap TV. If there's something you'd like to see us review, or you just want to get in touch, or if you just want to see more of Steven's kitchen in a moment, email us, feedback@ami.ca, or you could find us on Twitter. We're at Double Tap Canada with that hashtag, which is Ask Double Tap. Steven, have you made it downstairs? I know your house is not that big. Are you in the kitchen yet, sir?
Yes, Mark, here I am in my lovely kitchen. My house is quite big, you know. It did take me some time to get here, you know. Okay, look, here I am in front of my Echo Show 8. And it's really important I tell you that this is, like I said earlier, this is the device that you use for the Show and Tell feature, because it has that camera built in. And if you want to know where the camera is, or indeed if your device has a camera, put your hand up on the top right of the device and you'll feel what feels like a little switch. A little button protruding out. You can actually switch that across and it will turn the camera off. So, you know, very handy for security. If you did have one of these in the bedroom, say, you probably don't want the camera on all the time. You know, if someone accidentally drops in you. Yeah, let's not go there. So what we'll do is we're going to flip it back open again. That satisfying click that I heard there, that is it officially open. The camera is open and ready for business. And that means that the device is able to see the products I'm going to put in front of it. So let me give you an example of a reason, or a great reason why I would probably want to use Show and Tell, as I have been using now for a couple of days. One of the things about it that really stands out is that it is a feature that can identify pretty much any product, and it does so by reading the text on the product. So that's really important. I thought it might be working off some kind of fancy artificial intelligence that's identifying packaging, logos, and that worried me a little bit because I thought maybe it won't get it right all the time. It is in fact reading the text that is on the product. That is really important. So, you know, if I decide tonight to have beans for my dinner, then I probably don't want to be having cat food instead, right? So, you know, I'm a big fan of cat food for cats, but not necessarily for me. So for that reason, I'd like to have some beans. So I'm going to check. This tin here should contain Heinz baked beans, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use show and tell to confirm that. And it's very simple to do. I'm going to talk you through this process, but it is very simple. Once you've got your Echo Show 8 all set up, all logged in, all registered, ready to go, all you have to do is point the can at the device. Don't worry too much about placement, just get it centered. Now, what you can do if you're unsure as to whether or not you're actually in front of the camera or not, as many blind people do struggle with this, you can actually just, you know, feel your way here. I just put my hand across the device, put my tin against what is essentially the middle or the bottom of my thumb, which essentially is the middle of my hand, right? And just pull the can away a little bit. And then say the following words. Alexa, what am I holding?
Let's see. It looks like Heinz beans, kg.
Okay, well, there you go. Heinz beans. Don't know what kg means, but it is definitely Heinz beans. And like I say, it's getting it from that text on the front of the can. Okay, so let's try it now with something. This should be even easier. I've got here some skimmed milk. Because I think it's skimmed milk. I'm not sure. It might be semi-skimmed, could be whole fat. I'm not actually sure. Maybe the show and tell can help me with this. Alexa, what am I holding?
Let's see. Try moving your items slowly up or down. Try moving your items slowly up or down. It looks like Morrison's milk.
Ah, it's not telling me at the moment if this is skimmed milk or full fat or indeed what kind of milk. So, okay, do you know what? It's milk. It's a start. But there you go, another product identified. And what's great about that is it's telling me the brand name as well, which I didn't often realise the brand name. You know, my wife buys a lot of these products, so I don't tend to know where she buys them from. So it's telling me that on the product description as well. There is actually a lot more information available on the screen. And if you have voice view enabled, it will actually give you that information. You can just tap the screen and it will actually read out that information. You'll also notice that it gave me guidance as well. So it wasn't just saying to me, you know, can't find the information, no idea. It was trying to help me by saying, okay, maybe if you move your product around a little bit, you know, in this case, up or down, it might actually help me identify it. It's really smart, isn't it? So it's kind of fusing together that artificial intelligence, the OCR technology, which is, you know, essentially capturing the text and turning that into something readable. Yeah, really good. Okay, so finally, I'm going to try classic box of cereal. Okay, so it's box of cereal. What one is it? Is it the one I like or is it the one my wife likes? Let's find out. Alexa, what am I holding?
I think that's Weetabix Oatibix Flakes. For more info on this product, say, Alexa, details.
Okay. Alexa, details.
Our delicious Oatibix Flakes with red berries have all the goodness of 100% whole grain oats.
Well, there you go. So, you know, a huge amount of information given about the product as well. And it has that information built in. So it's giving me the opportunity to get that information from the device. So there you go, Mark. It is a really simple feature in a lot of ways, but it's a very powerful feature, which I think a lot of people will benefit from. And this is very beneficial to people who are dyslexic as well. It's not just those with sight loss, but of course, if you are completely blind, this might make a major difference to your life. So absolutely fantastic feature. As we record this, it's not yet available in Canada. I have checked with the Amazon team there. They say it is a feature that is coming soon, Mark, but certainly one to look forward to when it does arrive on the Echo Show 8. Now, I'm going to hand back to you. I'm going to get back upstairs into my office, but I believe there's a feature that you want to show me that really, if I'm honest, in these devices and with all the capability they have with the smarts in them, this is a feature I probably should have been using for a long time.
Okay, Stephen, while you head back up to the studio, let me remind people again, if you want to get in touch, feedback@ami.ca. Of course, that's our email address. And on Twitter, we are at DoubleTapCanada with that hashtag, which is AskDoubleTap. We're going to take a quick break and come back, and I'm going to dive into a very cool feature that a lot of people still haven't discovered yet on these devices, and that is routines. Stick around. It's Double Tap TV.
For more great Double Tap TV content, visit ami.ca/doubletap. This is Double Tap TV.
We are back on Double Tap TV talking all things Amazon, and more specifically, the Echo and their line of smart speakers and really smart devices, Stephen, right?
Yeah, these really are the premier smart speakers, Mark. And I know I'll get in trouble for saying that, but, you know, for a lot of reasons, to be honest. I mean, the cost is relatively low for what is very powerful hardware that you're getting here. With the Skills Store, for example, you can add so many other abilities to your Echo Dot, from games to activating smart devices, and I know that's something you are keen on doing more on.
Yeah, you know, Stephen, there's so many ways to use the A-Lady. You can make a shopping list. You can schedule calendar events if you link it to your calendar. Stream your favorite music. And these are all the obvious ones. But with smart home devices, you can do a whole heck of a lot of more really useful things. Turning lights off. You can group lights together and items together and control them in a group. For example, if your living room has a speaker and a lamp and overhead lights, you can group those together and call it the living room. So you can, you know, turn those on and off in one shot. I do it for my main floor of the house. So I say, you know, turn off the main floor, and everything on the main floor turns off. Even my doors lock at the same time. But there's another feature on the Amazon Echo ecosystem called routines.
I've heard of these, Mark, but what exactly are routines? How does it work?
So here's how routines work, Stephen. Alexa routines let you bundle together tasks and automate tasks that you might want to do in a single voice command, or a trigger, for example. So imagine you've got a list of things that you want to do, like close the lights in the living room, close the blinds at the same time if you've got automated blinds, lock the front door. Maybe you even want to arm your alarm at the same time. Maybe you want to use this as okay, I'm going upstairs, the night is over, I want to shut down my house kind of thing. You can do this all with a routine. So let's say you've got a regular nighttime routine, and you want the main floor to turn off the lights, lock the doors. Maybe you want to make sure the garage is closed every night at 9 p.m. You can do that too, and you've got several ways to trigger these routines. So way number one is obviously using your voice. You can use a voice command, for example, and say, good morning. And that will open your blinds, it'll turn the lights off, etc., etc. You can also do it via a schedule, which means that it'll happen at the same time every day or at the same time on specific days. So if you routinely go upstairs at 8 o'clock, but at 9 o'clock you want to make sure that you didn't forget anything on, you can do that as well. Another way is using a device. Your device, your smartphone or a button or another smart device, can trigger a routine. For example, a motion sensor can start a routine. A location can start a routine. For example, if you have 3 phones in your house and you keep track of where they are, you can make sure that your garage opens when you get close. Or every time you walk into your office, your lights can go on, or things like that. And finally, Echo buttons can trigger a routine. So anytime you can think of a series of tasks that you can do repetitively, or that you do repetitively, this is a perfect use case for using a routine. And I'm going to show you how to set one up quite simply. First, what we do here is we open the Alexa app on your mobile device. In the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see More. So you hit that More button, and then you can select routines from the list. Once you're on the routines page, there's a plus icon in the top right-hand corner. You simply hit the plus icon, and you add a new routine. This walks you through the whole process. So you start with selecting when this happens to add a trigger for your routine. This is where you add the action, for example, the voice command or the device triggering something, whatever you want to trigger that routine. Once you've added a few actions, you can organize them by holding and dragging the little equals icon that's to the right. You can change the order in which things happen. You can also select the device that you're speaking to. So if you only want this to trigger from, let's say, your living room Echo or your bedroom Echo, then you can even make sure that Alexa responds from that device of choosing. So you're not trying to, chase your house down and figure out when things are going on. Once you're happy with the routine and everything looks kind of the way you want it to, you select Save in the top right-hand corner. Might take a minute or so for it to actually upload to your devices, and then you can go ahead and test it. Really simple. You can rinse and repeat this with many, many different options if you want to do it voice triggers. I had fun with one, Stephen, around my son's birthday. I was telling him and joking with him that because of COVID and because of the pandemic, his birthday was canceled. So I made up a routine that said when he said, Alexa, happy birthday, Zachary, what actually happened was it says, sorry, Zachary's birthday is canceled this year. It will be rescheduled next year. So
that's cruel.
Yeah, I know. They're fun ways that you can use routines. So just dive into the Alexa app, look for routines on your smartphone, and you could set them up right there.
It just sounds brilliant. I mean, I'll be honest, it felt like it was going to be a confusing thing, and it felt that you would need to have some kind of engineering degree in order to do this, but it's not the case, is it? It seems really simple via the app. I've always been a bit skeptical of these things, just because they sound like hard work, and I'm against hard work, Mark, as you well know. So, you know, for that reason, I thought, nah, too difficult, never mind. But this sounds good. It sounds easy to set up. It sounds, and I know from my own experience how accessible the apps are. So yeah, I'm going to start trying some of these out. You got to do it because you put a little bit of the hard work in, and it helps you be a bit lazier down the road, which is the way that we want things to happen, which is kind of cool. Absolutely.
Thank you guys for being here, and as always for chiming in. If you need a reminder, because I do, the email address is feedback@ami.ca. On Twitter, we are @DoubleTapCanada with that hashtag, which is #DoubleTap. On behalf of Stephen Scott and both of our virtual assistants, thank you for being here. We'll catch you next week on another edition of Double Tap TV.
For more great Double Tap TV content, visit ami.ca/doubletap. Hosted by Mark Aflalo and Stephen Scott. Editing, Will Attar. Production assistants, Wendy Kaufman. Content review, Zachary Aflalo. Social media, Andy Wynn. Segment producer, Sean Priest. Voiceover, Anna Vicino. Integrated Described Video Specialist, Ron Rickford. Coordinating producer, Jennifer Johnson. Director, Production, Kara Nye. Director, Programming, Brian Perdue. VP Content Development and Programming, John Melville. President and CEO, David Arrington. Copyright 2021, Accessible Media, Inc.